Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is going to be another channeled message and reading. I'm going through the zodiac signs, just flowing through them. So the sign for this reading is Aquarius. So welcome. And if you're a different sign or if you have Aquarius in another part of your chart, welcome. I do have specific messages, and I will start off with the channeled messages and then go into the tarot reading, but the whole video is um, the complete reading. So I'm recalling with the things that I've seen the past couple of days. When I was at work, I was going to answer a call. Someone else put it on hold, and there's multiple phones at the pharmacy. So this isn't something that normally happens. I've never had this happen, to be honest. Um, but when I tried picking up one of the lines where it was put on hold, the message that I was getting was forbidden, as if I wasn't able to answer the call, and I ended up going to another phone to retrieve the phone call. So for some, I feel like there is something where the person isn't able to communicate, and they're trying to figure out like ways of how they can get through. Um, Almost as if it's like blocked off and again forbidden. Um, the other day was towards the end of the week. It felt like somebody was getting acclimated to things. They were getting adjusted to a routine, and I see what appears to be a soldier behind a wall, and they're filling up the ammunition, and it seems more mm, routine, as if they're going through it now. But then the next day, I was getting that they're in a hole, they're in a ditch. There is something where they're kind of freaking out and even screaming, and it's almost like they're like covering their ears like that. And I'm like, where would you be in a hole or in a ditch? And I'm also getting like maybe water, so maybe it's like an area where there's near water, or like a tunnel or like a bridge where there is somewhere where they're um kind of protecting themselves, or from any other dangers. And before I get more into it, there was the grandfather energy that um, is here and there, and it was interesting because it was like a a parent to their child in a way where they're like trying to make you happy, as if the energy was saying they're safe now, so um I wouldn't get super um I guess certain ways about it. So I was getting funny messages, as if like first I was getting like this, like he was doing like things as if to lighten the energy, as if it's okay. Not like it's not a happy situation, but it's like the person is safe now. And even the songs being like, um, if you're happy and clap your hands. and ABC is easy as one, two, three, another like song like that. It was just like to ease the situation. Um, and it also got me thinking, since one of the main decks that I use is the Slavic Legends Tarot, and one of the main plants that you see in the deck, especially in the water suit, is cattail, or Typha latifolia, and that could be telling of maybe the location of being in a hole. Also, if there is effects of maybe like a like a wound or being hurt. So there's some, especially in the court cards, that maybe it could be used as a poultice, as like a antiseptic to help treat the wounds. Um, and there are other common plants there. So I was getting also near water because those are plants that grow in damp soil and like temperate tropical climates. Um, Definitely being exposed to the elements because today I was also getting that. mm, Before I was even starting the reading, I was in the woods and we were sitting down, as if this is like where we're gonna rest. This is where we're gonna eat right now. So, um, so with the court cards, so there's the Queen of Cups with the cattail, as well as like the Knight of Cups and King of Cups. And it was also maybe going with the vision because I was getting a vision and it looked like a hallway almost. And it was like specifically like the walls were dark and like um almost like bronze, or and it kind of like stuff is dripping and it felt damp. It almost felt like subcellar kind of thing because it also reminded me of like yesterday because I got a storage unit since I'm moving and then going into an Airbnb until I move overseas. Um, and my storage unit is in the subcellar, which is not um, a bad area, but it's just the level that it's on. And I don't know if they do it on purpose, but they were playing like kind of music that you wouldn't really want to hear when you're in like a subcellar or in an area where you have to go through mazes um of storage, and then you're a lot of people like aren't there most of the time. It's usually just you. And I'm like, did you do this on purpose? Like to have people just listen to this music and to look around to make sure that there's like no one that's gonna do anything. And so this is the Page of Cups too with the cattail. Another thing, because with having a degree in botanical science, one of the main things is that like the medicine or plants that have therapeutic uses, they are right in your backyard or surrounding you. So it's definitely helpful. I know other common plants in Ukraine are um, like yarrow, Achilleum millefolium, which can also help staunch bleeding. Um, nettle, nettle might be beneficial too, or urtica, and the species maybe Diatica, that could help with inflammation, with muscle aches too. And then even like the a national plant, Kalina, or Viburnum, and Apolis. It has more of symbolism too. Of course, it is resilient as many berry bushes and plants are. Um, More poetic. It's in a lot of literature, and then also has with it being resilient, it can represent um, like resistance against oppression or like a dominance of another country. So, with that being said, the other messages before I fell asleep last night, I did get an image of a peacock fully um fully peacocking, and I it is more of like not being like being confident, but it's interesting, it's also not being arrogant too. And it could also be showing its feathers for different reasons too. Maybe protection. The other day, I did receive a deck that I actually put in this pouch, and I got a letter from the Etsy seller, which I love. So it's like it says, I hope this tarot deck brings you joy. I also tucked in a bonus gift for your protection, Adrian, sending much love and appreciation. And I was so excited. Especially I felt like maybe it was from the guides too, because the other reading, specifically the story of the bear reading, it was almost like I got smacked in the back of my head. And she's like, why did you say that? Why did you go there? That's not safe. And I'm like, oh my, that's where my mind went. I didn't mean anything by it. In terms of, I mean, I didn't mean to not be safe about it. Um, so maybe this is like a gift from the guides because I also got this howlite bracelet. That was one of the gifts. There's actually two. And it's like a calming stone, and it also really gives you the headspace so you could think clearly for a better perspective on things, a clear vision in particular, or in particularly a clear vision. And then there's the protection stone, which is, I don't really have a lot of crystals, but, and I've seen pyrite before. This one is super incredible, and it can also bring out the warrior energy too. So I thought that would be fitting for this. I think it's fitting for this. So a couple more things and then I'll get into the reading. Because it was interesting because when the grandfather energy came in and was trying to say the person's okay now, they're safe, and it's like because the songs that I was getting, it was like kind of transitioning from like it was like a My Chemical Romance one of like the ghost of you. And then going into what it really was, it was like this is war and it's 30 Seconds to Mars. So there's definitely more of a energy shift there. And I would say that if you go through these shifts, especially in mentality and with the things that you go through, of course, there's so much that we go through throughout the day, um, to really focus. I know there's this one car that's directly parked in front of me because in the garage that I park in, we all kind of claim our spots even though they're not really claimed. And the car in front of me has like the license plate Focus on it. And again, as I've said before, if you pray or if you do your different spell work or whatever spirituality or religion that you belong to, make sure that you mean it. And you say these things in confidence. Um, you say them relentlessly. You say them in a way where you know that this is it. This is um, what a prayer is. This is what a spell is. And especially saying it in an area that's full of chaos, to be able to say those words without um, forgetting, without mixing the words up. So, and to also ease your mind that when you have stressful days or you have things that happen in life, as soon as you have that thing that happens in life, then you say that. You say your prayer, you say your spell, and it's like it it gives you a sense of relief too. And also it can be a sense of protection that this prayer, this spell is like it's protecting me. Um and even earlier this today, it might have been that for those who watched this video that I'm still here because I was also getting a scene of a person like leaving a village or town while the other person that they're helping was being left there as if because the person wasn't sure like am I helping them or am I harming them by putting them in like harm's way by being like associated with me. And then later like that area gets like attacked and then the person goes back to like help and stuff and then well, and stuff but and then they're like why did you leave and then giving um their answer and then because one of the answers well altogether for that is that to stick together. It's not something where you're trying to go separate ways on that. And the last thing that I was getting is that for those who need to hear it, you're not sacrificial lambs and your life is valuable. So now that I said my channeled messages, I'll go into the reading. As I said, I'll be using the Slavic Legends Tarot. Then the Earthside Tarot. I did get a specific vision from the Fairies Oracle. Oh, I made this back. And this is the book. So I'll be reading the story of the fairy. So the fairy that I had a vision about is the luminous loom. Then my deck, the Earth Fairy Tarot, and the deck that I received the gifts with is the Tarot of the Golden Wheel. And I picked it up reversed. I'm actually going to keep it as that for the King of Cups. And it's interesting because the crown is a cattail, the plant. Maybe being surrounded by water. They're definitely, as I said, exposed to the elements. So I did look at these cards. So there's the Four of Wands, the Two of Pentacles, with the Emperor, Five of Cups, and the Page of Pentacles. I feel like with the Four of Wands, there's someone or something that definitely keeps you grounded during this time. Because with the Two of Pentacles, it is more priorities, and you see that the person has feathers on both sides, but if you can imagine them being more weighted down. And it's almost like a balancing act of trying to do different things. Um, and keeping a steady footing with it too. Also with time, there's a clock at the bottom. Because with the Emperor card and the Five of Cups and the Page of Pentacles, like these three together specifically, it's definitely a studious energy of an Emperor that has to fulfill certain things or certain duties. And with the Five of Cups, it's not exactly what they would want to focus on or would like to do. And I was also getting a That's What She Said. So that could also be a That's What She Said for this. I don't know if other countries do that. And I like how on this card for the Page of Pentacles, putting together the process of life. And with the Emperor, there is a focus because you have like what looks to be a hawk. I'll keep the card at the bottom. It's the Chariot card with the Nine of Cups too. I think there is more comfort. It's very specific, but with the colors on her clothes and the Chariot card going from green to yellow, what I did today, I was actually, for the first time in a long time, I was crocheting and I I knit or I have done so many projects that have green in it. But this past year or this year and last year, I've knit so much blue and yellow. So unintentionally, I did pick up some yarn for my crochet blanket just to change it up because it was going so incredibly slow because I just wasn't motivated because I was trying to do the color palette that I did in a previous blanket that I don't have anymore. But I don't like to do the same project more than once if it I'll do the same project more than once if it's like a garment, but I would change the colors up. So I, I got the colors, the gold or the yellow and of dark blue. So essentially, kind of what I've been doing with a lot of other stuff. And that's what it looks like with the Chariot card. I feel like there is a progression where it comes natural. And with the Nine of Cups, it does seem like it's a direction or something that you've been craving or you've been wanting. Like an anticipation out of like something that felt so unhealthy, something that felt that it kind of sucked the life out of you, to be honest. So there's definitely a calming energy. And I know with the moose, like it can get spooked, but it is more of a gentle giant. Being able to get a perspective too on different things, and from that you could move forward. Even with the Nine of Cups, it has a mountain, and it's almost like it's surrounded by waves of clouds or being higher, like altitudes, to almost be on cloud nine, as some general card meanings of the Nine of Cups can be. There's a lot of cards that are getting pulled out today. So, and some might be getting over an illness too, because TMI, I was also not here the other day because I think I always felt like I had an iron stomach, and I still feel it that way. But something just really irritated my stomach. I had a protein drink, and it did warm up from being on the counter. So I still drank it, and it just did not sit well. So it's fine now. Sorry. Also, one of the things that I've been getting to was that, like, dust. Because I dreamt of dust, and it's specific. Also, the other day in the OTC section, I was organizing compression stockings. And with compression and circulation, and um, there's different levels of compression. But essentially, there was something that dropped in between the cracks of something, and I was about to pick it up, and then I looked under, like where it was, and I was reaching my hand, and I like took my hand out quickly because there was a spider web that's been there for a while. So it's almost like almost being caught in the spider web, but just in the nick of time being out of there, which I feel that it could have had to do with the spirit of the bear reading too, just at the nick of time. Um, but the also with dust representing things not being addressed and specific injustices that aren't being addressed too. So many things that want to be said today. So go through the cards. I'm also getting again from the Watership Down, the rabbit being the prince of 1,000 enemies. And it really strikes the mentality too. Because it looks like with this figure in the Ten of Swords, it's like they're on the ground and like the swords are in the back, and it's like, I can't do this anymore. But then it looks like dawn is breaking. Um, this is definitely more symbolic because a lot of times there's not usually 10 swords or swords in somebody's back like that, because the swords represent air, they represent the mind. And it really comes a long way, as I said, to discipline your mind, and it goes a really long way. And with this, the Two of Swords, really sitting down to think about things. It feels like this energy isn't flighty anymore. I say anymore because maybe in the past, this person just ran into situations or even ran out of situations, and there wasn't a lot of thinking that went into it. Or when we see stuff in reversed or intensified cards, it's like maybe thinking too much about situations that, what if this goes wrong? And even there's the high priestess in reverse, and you really don't want the high priestess in reverse, because what is it this person not seeing? And then there's the owl there too. You must really not be seeing, because an owl like can turn its head, and it's like it sees most things, and it like can hear a lot of things, and then the wings are really quiet when um when the owl flies. So when you know, with the high priestess, you're not seeing the keys to unlock something. It's just interesting because I did buy keys the other day for my storage unit. Not seeing the movement. You have the Six of Wheels, the Six of Pentacles, as if, because the mother looks like it's giving, she has a bunch of apples, and she's only giving the child one apple. because that's all the child needs at that time. They don't need to eat 10 apples in one sitting at right at the moment. So with that, I wouldn't worry too much because if you're not getting all the information, I feel like maybe your guides, or if you believe in that, they're not giving you all the information at once, but they're having you go through the motions. It's almost like it's going over your head. But um, it's one of those things where maybe you want to trust the process, not maybe confidently trust the process. Because a lot of times, if we don't get information revealed to us, and this goes for businesses too, um, then you probably wouldn't agree to it. And there is specific information that gets left out for specific reasons. So let me see that. And then there's another Two of Pentacles. And this person is on the shoreline. It's almost like staying and fighting kind of energy. Then you have the Five of Swords and the Ten of Cups. It feels like it does take a toll specifically on relationships or a relationship. And even when you think that some information isn't revealed to you, I'm getting what information isn't being revealed, and then I was getting that it was revealed in the past. You have um, an older figure, two figures on the cards, and then they have dandelions, and then they're, like they're in a meadow just relaxing. So with the Six of Cups, that's of the past, and then it's like if the information or what you have already figured out or know with the Queen of Wands that is going here, since I was going to say Queen of Swords, it could link to the Queen of Swords. It's kind of going full force with it because the Queen of Wands is not the queen that holds back. And with that one, it kind of feels like not holding back and getting what you want. Because like the message that I'm getting like is that you're spoiled. And then honestly, I couldn't even like take myself seriously when I was like, who, me being spoiled? Of course. But the Queen of Wands, she wants what she wants and she's gonna get it. Um, but then there is a time lapse because there was a clock on the Two of Pentacles. So it's something that takes time. It's not gonna be so quickly available. And that could be another thing of perception of time, like a time lapse, as if maybe your soul has recently been awakened. And then it looks like it was because like it's a light card, but with the eclipse there too. The being able to see the eclipse but needing to see it in a certain way by doing something specific to be able to see it. Because it doesn't seem like, and a lot of times, especially with the high priestess, it's not just cut and dry. It's not just like um so direct, not directly given to you. That's specifically what I was getting. So you might get some hints, messages, gradual messages I'm getting, like here and there. And with that, it's almost like you're figuring it out. And then eventually you get all the letters for that cryptex. And then you are able to open it, and that's where the secret is. That's where your answer is. And again, sometimes the answer that you're looking for, you already know. That there's something so obvious about it that I feel like it goes with the Four of Wands too. Because whatever grounds you, whatever the motivation is, it almost is a stronger weapon than the physical weapon that you have. Because if you're relentlessly fighting for this specific thing or person, I feel that a lot of things wouldn't be able to tear you down from that. And also with the future card, and I was also getting this the last couple of days too, specifically with the King of Swords, also associated with the Aquarius sign. Um, there's a lot of like intensity with the energy, and even though this is swords, it's honestly, it kind of feels like fuck around and find out type of energy because this person has been like through this thing and had to do this thing and was dragged through this thing, and at this point they're just like I'm not taking any bullshit at this point. And it also feels so bluntly stated as if like I don't know, in the past, well, when like on sites and specifically older people looking to go back into the dating scene, it's not something that they usually like to look forward to. A lot of times they have a lot of priorities. A lot of times, like they might have children or things that they can't easily just change their schedule or their lifestyle for when they meet somebody else that they are interested in dating. And I say cut and dry, it's almost as if like a lot of those people, I'm not saying everybody, but they have a tendency of, it's almost like an interview with them when they're trying to date somebody. And if they don't like, they aren't able to fit the type of lifestyle, especially, then they are just like, I can't do this with you. It's not gonna work. That's it. That's what it kind of feels like with this King of Swords. Now, there is something that would be that they can help like it can help like accomplish things in their life with that. And but I would definitely be careful of how harsh it could be because you might be cutting things off that you might not even be getting a chance to. There's different archetypes in here because like to overcome the obstacle is the Queen of Cups. Um, Honestly, I'm getting more of like psychic energy too. And then in the first card I saw as reversed when I picked the deck up, it was the King of Cups. So it is really opening those, I would say, like abilities for you. And I feel like everyone has it. To not close yourself off, to really see the possibilities. As I said with different herbs, like there's medicine around you. You it's right in your backyard. You could use it. Um, it could be efficient, like with the cattail, the Typholatifolia. It is a bioenergy product. It's used for ethanol. It could be used for fuel. Could use for be used for other pharmaceutical products. Pharmaceutical products too. It doesn't hurt to know. And I'm getting like, wouldn't you want to know than not to know at all? This might be in terms of the King of Swords being direct, which is a quality that that archetype would have. But it is mixed with um, matters of the heart too. So with the Four of Swords, there might be some exposure, some secrets of that. That might not be a secret, but the other person's like, well, I can't confirm that I actually feel this way about this person because if they know that, then there's a chance that they're gonna walk away. And honestly, like it feels like the other person's like, I already knew, like, so I'm just like, I'm still here, but you're not saying anything. So that's how to overcome the Knight of Swords. And since it's an obstacle, I am seeing it more of a reversed position because with the Knight of Swords, that's also a card where, especially the mind and heart really are of an importance to this knight. And he usually or she usually goes for what that is or who that is. Also, with the Knight of Coins, with the Knight of Pentacles, I'm also linking it to Archangel Gabriel in this reading. There is just such a loyalty to that god source or god. And again, with having such relentless energy, doing anything. But with the Knight of Pentacles, there is a practicality to it too. In the present, you have the world. And it does feel like an interesting present card because I'm getting like, what are you being surrounded by? Who are you being surrounded by? There's just such a expansive energy of so many things that you haven't experienced, that you have literally experienced within the last couple of months, and will definitely experience more. But it is, you're not in your corner anymore. You're not in your bedroom or in the zone that you were before. and with the Nine of Cups and another Ten of Swords, because that is gone. You also have the Ace of Swords too, linking to the Queen of Cups. There's something that you want to set things straight. It's almost like putting the sword into the ground. It's like a confirmation. Even, I feel like words of encouragement or words of a commitment. Like there are, for some, I'm getting like strong words to set things straight, to really make them concrete. Another Ten of Swords. I'm getting like what you once had is not there anymore. And then you just had to keep moving forward with the Six of Wands and getting guided. I think it's definitely a good thing because it's like green and yellow and what I'm noticing. Like it really just not only changes the trajectory, it like changes the momentum too. Turning into the King of Wands because there was the Queen of Wands in the Tarot of the Golden Wheel. And it could be making your own traditions too, your own way of doing things, paving your own path. Because there's Tartan on here, and that's usually linked to like clans or families and different areas of the world, country. With the Three of Swords, I feel like there's something that's calming because it has a goldfinch there, and it's more of a comforting energy. Um, Kind words or kind whispers. I feel like your antenna's up with that. With the Two of Cups and the Four of Swords, with the Two of Cups like reflecting off of each other. And then the Four of Swords. I really do feel like the resting spot is near water. I'll pull out a couple of cards and then I'm going to read the Oracle. And I do feel like this is such a new adventure. Because how to overcome the High Priestess being reversed is the Eight of Cups. And Dawn is also breaking there too. And then there's also a different phase with the of the eclipse in this card. As if now it's fully covered. Which is interesting because you get different, like with the waves, as I said in another reading, like the push and pull of, Well, the sun is covered, and you'll notice that it's different. You'll notice that the sky is different. You'll notice that you're not going to go back to the same person that you once were. And this is fluidity and even change and being able to adapt to those changes with the Two of Cups. And it kind of looks like they aren't cherry blossoms there, but it looks like they're cherry blossoms. And I say that because it's cherry blossom season in this area because the Japanese gifted this area like DC cherry blossoms. And so during this time, it's like there's a lot of different products that have those flowers on them and um, food themed cherry blossom flavors and stuff. So, um, oh, Ace of Pentacles. So when we think about pentacles, we think of something that's tangible. So if you're thinking about the Two of Cups and you're like wanting to make your decision from the Seven of Cups, because the Seven of Cups is breaking those decisions down, and finally making a choice. And once you make your choice, that's where you're going towards with the Eight of Cups. The Ace of Wheels with the Two of Cups, it looks like a relationship that's tangible, a relationship that's if it's long distance, it'll be in person. If it has to do with the situation that you're trying to complete or fulfill, it's something that is more concrete. And there's a push towards it because it has a bull on the card. Then there is, like as I said, with new energy, because there's the Page of Cups, the Page of Wands, and the Page of Pentacles. The only one that's not here is the Page of Swords. In the energy, it feels like it's daring. In the energy, it's like, I'm ready to go on this adventure. It feels like as if, when you're, I don't know, I like to travel. And when you go to, like, when you're anticipating flying somewhere, like in a plane, I know when I was younger, it would be hard for me to sleep, and then my parents, like, would pick the earliest flights because those are the cheapest flights. Um, like the 4:30 flights. And and then your parents won't even want to get there like 2 hours earlier or something. And so there's just such like an excitement of going that sometimes that you just like when it's sleep, at least for me. And with the Three of Pentacles, it's like chiseling away. But to remember to delegate because you're not the only one in your group project. Then you have the Ten of Pentacles. Because you have the Ace of Pentacles and it goes into the Ten of Pentacles. So this is like really shooting for the stars with this one. Maybe even wanting to start your own family or starting your own traditions. So, and then to not let heavy burdens or past thoughts and memories get the best of you. Because when I saw them, I just like was like, I'll just split the deck, and then I'm like, oh, I wouldn't want to leave it on that note because I have the Ace of Swords. And with this one, it kind of feels like having the thought of somebody having a hidden agenda, because like you have the Devil card that goes with that too. And it's like thinking that, man, this person's gonna burn me like the other people have burned me in the past. And that really gets in the way of having the lifestyle that you're hoping for, that you dreamed of with the Nine of Pentacles, because it feels like you're already established and you can get there. It's almost like the coming of age in a way. And then having the Star card too, which is good, to leave it on this note with the reading of Aquarius. So, um, to remember that when you're getting to know a person and you have these things, especially that have happened in the past where people have burned you, um, to really look at how they're presenting themselves and what you see and what honestly like the vibration or like energy that you're getting off of them too. Just the different things, and to really make I guess a decision. Sorry, I keep saying yes, a decision from there, because especially if you have like stuff that happened in the past, and then maybe other people might say stuff too, to really see if what people say and what you're thinking matches what this person is giving you. And if it's like constantly contradicting, there might be a point where you're thinking about the situation and you're linking it to the past situations, and that's not really fair for anybody, really. So I'll leave it at the Star card because it links to Aquarius, and then I'll read the Faery card. And they come with like stories. So it's also like getting to know a person and getting to know their language and love language specifically, because it reminds me at the bottom of the deck, and I'm sorry, it's another long reading, but it has like this really ornate cursive at the bottom that it's like you kind of have to get used to in order to read it, but once you like get the gist of like the cursive that's on there, it's like it's not a problem. So the card is 36. I've been flip-flopping between the two channels to see which channel is more accessible. So, oh, I'm sorry. It's as I say that, oh, it's easily readable. It's actually 56, not 36. I'm sorry. Okay. The Luminous Doom. This is a little story. So, self defeat, self pity, self destruction, taking care of ourselves. Self pity is the first step to the slippery, seductive slide towards self destruction. Much of what I've said above the Soul Shrinker, card 55, applies to the Luminous Doom, so please read the Soul Shrinker first. Oh. It seems that it may seem odd to have some seemingly lightweight challenger as Luminous Doom right next to the Soul Shrinker, but they are the closest of cousins. The Soul Shrinker observes the way that we curse others through energy and attitude. Luminous Doom observes the way that we curse ourselves. In a way, the part of ourselves that we have witnessed is worse than the Soul Shrinker sees. When we curse others through sending the energy of malice and ill will towards them, they may reject our sendings. However, we curse ourselves through self pity and self destructive attitudes. There is a little, if any, resistance, and curse takes immediate effect and continues to act when we change our attitudes. It's interesting, isn't it? How can we see at once that the Soul Shrinker is ugly, but Luminous Doom has a certain charm, the kind of weird look? We feel sorry for him. We He looks so pitiful. Um, and then there's another side to him that one Oracle group participant sees. I feel that Luminous Doom isn't underrated as a helper. He can be there for you when no one else wants to know. He states of self-pity when all seems terrible and the whole world is against you is an important part of the process. We all get ourselves down sometimes, and we can say that even to compare when we feel good. Luminous Doom is ready and willing to help us explore and just how awful it all feels and just how bad it is and how hard done by we feel and what has made us feel that way in the first place. It is very important to get to know these feelings or how we can possibly let them go. If not properly know them in the first if we don't properly know them in the first place. Our feelings need to be fully acknowledged and understand, or we just tuck them away and hide them from sight until they appear again, maybe in a different guise. Luminous Doom helps us properly explore our gloomy feelings of doom so that we can be done with them. It is important, it is a very important job. The ultimate test here, of course, is to take responsibility for ourselves and our attitudes, and to choose a path that is life affirming and not life denying. The sorrier we feel for ourselves, the worse the life becomes. Reread the last sentence, please. It is not the other way around. Self pity makes things worse, and we have a choice. Once we have every moment to whether we want to make our lives better or worse, we can always choose that for ourselves. So, for the starter reading, it is time to face the fact of our attitudes and beliefs about ourselves on our own. We may have learned them from others, but the others are not responsible for them in the here and now. We are. If we choose self pity and pessimism, we make a choice and makes our lives worse. When this card appears in a reading, it indicates that this is a time when understanding that concept is especially important, a time that there is some sort of a crunch in a situation that offers someone the opportunity to notice and change such self destructive habits. If it is yourself, you know what you need to do. If it is someone else, you may wish to consider how you might support them in this opportunity for change. Can you make sure to give positive feedback at every appropriate opportunity? Can you refrain from nagging, scolding, or complaining at them when they get it wrong? These things help. And then for the reversed, sorry. Um, Someone is sunk in self pity, and this is having a delirious effect on that person and on the situation. I hate to say it, but there is very little anyone but that person can do to change the attitude. It is important to remember that trying to push someone into a different attitude only encourages them to resist us, making matters worse. See Soul Shrinker card 55. I know it's already a long reading, but I'll read that part of the I'll read the other card too. Take this into account in making your own plans and decisions and get on with doing the best that you can with your life. It is up to the other person to sort out her own attitudes. An oracle reader from our online group shows a way that we can deal with excessive self pity in ourselves by meeting our own needs and desires for comforting. Because I have a pity party when I'm feeling down, I give myself permission to enjoy the feeling to the nth degree. I allow it. I get all of the junk food I can think of, rent the worst, um, really grown movies, get my blankie, and I'm set. Pretty soon I can't remember why I was down, but I sure had a great time while it lasted. I highly recommend it. And in modern life, we are not free from the plagues and the torments of bad fairies. They make a they make their presence known to us through all matters of disruptions, from minor daily irritations to serious problems affecting our health and well-being. So I'll quickly read the Soul Shrinker. Um, and it's this one. I'm sorry, it's another super long video. Cruelty, malice, gossip, curses, destruction, blessing. The distasteful task of the soul shrinker is to observe what we have to say and about others, especially the mean, nasty, and unnecessarily critical things. By observing our behavior this way, he reflects it back to us, making us more aware of it. This is a Banshivhava, a spiritual being devoted to helping and about the enlightenment of all type of job, and requires a great compassion, understanding, and forgiveness if the soul shrinker himself is not being dragged down to our level. If we are just inwardly spluttering, looking for words, he may suggest to us the words that express our feelings and energy. Then it is our choice, our test, whether or not we say them. They, there are two important things about malicious gossip: unnecessary criticism, verbal cruelty, sarcasm, and scoring off of others. One is that it demeans the speaker, makes him less, and makes his aura darker, and encourages the behavior as a habit, continually eroding the brightness and potential goodness of the speaker. The other important thing is that this is a way we actually curse others. Even if the recipient doesn't hear the actual words of the blessings or curse, even if the words are not spoken aloud, they are carried as discordant notes through Exorcist Card 2 Song of the Universe to the recipient. Fortunately, that is not all there is to it, or such behavior can be unforgivably wicked. Not that it isn't pretty nearly that anyway. We all have a choice about whether we accept curses or blessings. If we choose not to accept it, then all the energy boomerangs back to the sender, and who then gets the well-deserved double dose of it. Once long ago, the soul shrinker was good, but listening to the witnessing of all humans' ugliness rubbed off on him in a polluted pool with his raw skin and forming hideous growths. His heart is compassionate and anguished, his heartfelt wishes. We learned right speech and right thought, Every wicked thing a human says makes the soul shrinker more ugly. Every time a human learns this lesson, the soul shrinker becomes less ugly. As you can see, humanity as a whole has a lot of work to do on this. Starter reading. Critical and malicious thoughts and words are having detrimental effect on a situation and people involved in it. Steps need to be taken, banish this cursed energy through love and compassion, or at the very least through forgiveness and the refusal to accept the curse into oneself. Understanding the implications of this and transforming the behavior and feelings involved is a major and often very difficult step in a human spiritual development. One of the things usually involved here is taking responsibility for ourselves and our own feelings rather than blaming others for the way that we are. Another part of the process is we learn to be compassionate towards ourselves. If we could do that, it is much easier not to be horrible to and about others. It doesn't mean that we're supposed to be all sweetness and light all the time. Constructive criticism, even compassionately, is a part of being real, and reality is a good thing to be in touch with. And then the reverse meaning malice, vicious gossip, cruelty, and occurring somewhere in the situation, cursing people involved. The best way to change this is to begin scattering blessings, thank yous, positive feedback, and kind words all directions. It helps a lot if they are actually meant. So thank you guys so much for watching, um, especially if you watch the whole thing, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.